Hey everyone, it's Joe from Gadgetry Tech, and today I'm reviewing something from a category I don't normally cover, and that is this Saramonic Blink Me microphone system. So this doesn't really fit my normal product coverage, admittedly, because I tend to focus on gaming and high-end audio. But as a content creator, I use stuff like this all the time, literally daily when I'm creating content, as do many of you who are watching this video. So I wanted to cover this because this is a pretty exciting product to me because it fit a lot of needs that I was looking for and the timing of it was excellent. I recently traveled to a high-end audio show called Axpona and I used this system in the field. So my review on this is delayed by about a week because I actually wanted more usage in a real-world work environment and not just testing at home. So I'm going to talk about things more from the content creator side because hopefully by the end of this review, this helps you kind of discover what's possible out there, and maybe it'll give you some fresh motivation or content ideas on where you see the flexibility of this. I also have the Rode Wireless Go system, which is another very popular system in this price range. So I will be doing a direct comparison with a sound test later in the review to help you see how it compares. So this is kind of a pseudo unboxing. I've used this, but I wanted to show you how mine was presented at the time of review. So it comes in this nice little box, but here's what made this really cool. It's going to be fun to get out. It comes in a hard case. And this is a $250 microphone system coming with a very durable, well-made case. So for traveling, I was able to benefit from this immediately. Conversely, when I get the Rode system, it comes in a little draw bag, which obviously this is much more compact, but doesn't protect the gear as much. So depending on what's important, this is good to have an option. Now, if you don't care to use the travel case, and let's open this. It does come with a bag, so thank God for top-down views because this lid would be in the way. This Saramonic bag can hold a good chunk of the accessories, not all of it because there's a lot that it comes in the box. So I want to go over what you get first. On that note, real quick, you can buy cables separately to have smartphone and computer adapters, like using the analog to USB if you have an Android phone, for example, and that's USB-C. And then they even have the 3.5 millimeter to Lightning port, so you can connect it directly to an iPhone or any Apple device that uses Lightning. So I have a couple things mounted because I want to save some time later in the review, but once you see this system unboxed and I explain why it comes with these accessories, this is one of the first cool things for me. I'll talk about specs. Let me stick with the unboxing first. So you get the USB-A to C cable. You get an analog cable, which is TRRS, meaning that it has the audio and microphone support in a single wire. Then you have 3 magnetic discs. So these are really strong magnets, by the way, and I'll show you why this is a big benefit. Look how strong they are. That's literally, I can't even put them near each other on this mat. So, and then you have other magnetic plates that have a clip on the back for your shirts. And I must have dropped one. Here it is. You have a couple of the fuzzies that, or like the mitts for the microphone to block wind noise, like cattails, whatever you want to call them. So, and then this system, this is a spring-loaded smartphone mount. It has a tripod mount on the bottom because I have this Joby stand here. So you can just click this in and now my phone can connect and I have a really flexible tripod situation. Again, I'm approaching this as a content creator because there's some amazing stuff you can do with this. Now, I unboxed this. I want to show you the actual equipment. And I have this on right now. I left it on because I was doing some testing. But this is the receiver system. It's a little bit different and unconventional from what you normally see, but it has some really slick features. So you have a USB-C, which works as a charge port and a data port because you can connect this to the computer. There's the ability to record locally. So this is how you interface with these to retrieve the recordings. A headphone output for monitoring, and then this line out for your microphone output that the receiver receives. The reason why this is important is you can plug this in right here and then connect this to your smartphone. And now, in addition to having onboard recording, if you want to use onboard, you now have your connection that's going into your phone or an SLR, mirrorless camera, whatever it may be if you want to just use analog. That's the port you want to use, not headphone. So going on the other side, you have power and then plus and minus, which are assignable, believe it or not. Then you have this touch screen, and you know what, let's flip this around. So I'm gonna have to turn some of these on apparently. I shut them off. But once these are on and this is connected, you can do so much. So let's get this unlocked here. So that's booting up now. And now I have a microphone. You can see that I'm talking and it's being picked up here. Now check this out. And this is touchscreen, by the way. I can do features right on the receiver itself. Here is one of the transceivers, or transmitters, I should say. So this has a protective film over the top. I never peel it off. I tend to leave that plastic stuff on as long as possible. But it uses what they call panda glass, so it should be very durable to scratches. This also has a screen that lights up, and you can do a lot of settings. There's onboard recording, noise reduction, transmitter gain, screen brightness, display, and then additional settings. This one's important because this is how you fix the pairing in case it ever drops. Set the date and time for the local recordings, etc. I never had any pairing issues. Both of mine were working right off the bat. Now, some of these features, if I go back, and this is, you have original sound and HD noise rejection. So this is my fastest way of going back. So if you notice on the bottom of the screen, it says L, because the BlinkMe system actually can record in stereo. There are 2 of these, and this is the reason why I'm excited about this as a content creator. Is the flexibility you get is amazing. You can have these in stereo for left and right, or if you are doing an interview, you can put this with each person, and then because you record left and right, in post-production, you can edit the gain. So if one person is softer spoken and the other person talking is very loud, being able to record 2 separate audio channels is great. There are more flexibility tips with that too, but I want to show you the physical stuff first, and then I'll go into all the other audio tweaks and settings. This has roughly a 9-hour battery. This has about a 24-hour battery, and if you combine them, this will add additional power. It's called Power Share, and it'll charge this as you go. It gives you about 14 hours, 14 and a half hours of a single runtime on this transmitter. Now, there are 2 sides to it, so when you're not using it, if you're not mounted to anything, you can leave it like this, and it's a more convenient way to store it, of course, but you don't really have a lot of flexibility as far as how you're going to position it. The flexible thing here is if you are doing onboard recording, you have a stereo recorder now. So there's little flexibility with keeping it attached, but honestly, I think it's either one on, one off, or both off to really show what this thing can do. Now, I talked about the accessories. These mitts actually work really well. My Rode ones never really stayed on. They were a nightmare to get on and off because sometimes I wanted it and sometimes I didn't. So with these, once you get it in the little tab, you can just spin it and they're on, and it's very durable. I don't have to worry about it falling off, which is really nice. Here's the killer feature. You have a traditional clip. So what I can do, if I want to, is clip it onto a polo like this, and then attach this, and I'm set up instantly. You saw how fast that was. However, sometimes I don't wear a polo. And the issue I had with the Rode system using a lavalier mic, because I don't like how big and bulky this looked, so I didn't really ever clip it. And the clip forced you, which was really odd, is if you use the clip built in, it put the microphone on the side, not the top. So that makes it kind of difficult for polos. I wasn't really a fan of how this was laid out, so I ended up buying a lav, which is here, and clipped it on, put the clip behind me, so that was out of the way. Because this is magnetic, you have a lot more flexibility. Now, if you don't want to use the clip, you can use these magnets, which means if you have just a t-shirt, or depending on what gear you're wearing, I can just put this behind my shirt anywhere I want, and now I'm attached. And this is how I used it at Axpona. The reason why I liked this is by placing it a little bit farther from my mouth, I didn't get any hot spot where I spoke down to it and it got too loud and it clipped out. That leads me to another thing, clipping. I talked about the stereo mode. You can do mono mode and just have a single unit in like a normal microphone system, but this also has a safe mode option. And the safe mode allows you to record 2 audio tracks. You can do one at a normal gain, that whatever you have set to, and then the second one will record at -6 decibels. So by having a second audio clip at a lower gain, if your primary one ever distorts because you spoke too loud, your safe track or your back track shouldn't have that same distortion because it's -6 decibels. Another nice thing about this particular system is it allows 24-bit recording. Now, purely from a sound quality perspective, you don't need 24-bit to sound better necessarily. It does take up more internal space. I think it goes from like 22 hours to 15 hours internal. but 24-bit gives you more dynamic range. And the advantage to the BlinkMe system now is you get extra 10 decibels of dynamic range. This goes up to 110 decibels, and the Rode system caps out at about 100. So you can obviously play with the settings and have a weaker or a less sensitive mic, but that means the quieter moments aren't captured in case you wanted to have a more natural sound. So you get a lot of dynamic range. Then to show you the other advantage of this physical system, I mentioned the whole shirt clip before. This is the Rode system because I did buy this originally for the Go because I was doing interviews and I was like, oh, this would be convenient. It's a pretty slick little setup. But check this out. This magnet system, the clip that they used is also a cold shoe mount size. So you can use it on anything designed for a cold shoe mount, just like this. And now I have an interview mic using the Saramonic BlinkMe system. Now I don't know which one I assigned it to, so I'm going to kind of do this in real time. This screen is beautiful, and I can customize it to add my own picture. And again, as a content creator, it's these little things. Okay, so I think it's this one based off that lock screen, and I'll show you how it works. So am I on the screen here? So if there's a little bit of glare, I apologize, but I'm going to basically tap and hold the screen. Then I'm going to swipe up, and there is my logo. How awesome is that? So my setup right now is to not have any on-screen display for my gain. This is basically assuming I've set everything correctly. The reason why I like this is because now if I'm doing an interview, you can even disable screen timeout so it doesn't shut off. And I don't know if you can see that. Check that out. Focus, focus. Now, as a content creator, if I'm out and about, I have my logo instead of a giant Rode logo, just as an example. I'm happy with the Rode system. I'm not trying to pick on it, but this is the flexibility I'm talking about. My branding is now on the microphone. Then I can put this little windsock on, so if I'm walking around kind of fast pace or I'm outside and I'm recording, this is going to help with sound quality immensely. So I mentioned the whole shirt system, the magnet structure. Then let's show you another thing. So I'm going to take my phone out. I want to put it on this clip. And let's see if I'm doing this correctly. I like doing stuff in one take so you can see really how easy or difficult something may be. So both mics are on now, and I have that little stereo recording. It's showing both gains coming in. I can then clip this on. Now my phone is set up with the recording device. And let's see, where did I put my lightning cable? So all I have to do is plug the lightning port in on my phone, plug this in on the side where the microphone input is, and I now have a portable microphone system. The benefit of recording with two audio feeds is I can put one of these right on top. So if I'm standing in front of the camera, or you can just unscrew this shoe mount and face it back. This shoe mount that's connected to the top is also included with the accessory kit. I just screwed it in by default. So you can have a microphone that's on your shirt, plus one on the phone or camera, whatever it may be, record separately, and then pick which one gives you the audio you're looking for. So this flexibility on that kind of system is super handy. And I'm going to say it, I guess to summarize this section is, as a content creator, I have my home setup where I have really high-end shotgun microphones, XLR, but when I need the flexibility, this is kind of like a one-kit-fits-all approach instead of buying more stuff. I bought the Rode Wireless Go system, and it was $200. And then they came out with the Go 2, which was $300, and I had no way of adding a separate source to this. So I would have had to just dump this whole thing and start over, which I refused to do. So when the BlinkMe came out, it was just a really nice change of pace, because I had my screen, I had the travel case, the flexibility with phones, the mounting system that it came with. All of these things are extra accessories that can cost a lot. And then the durability and flexibility is great. So I just connected the Saramonic mic to my iPhone, and I'm recording with the selfie cam so I can see myself speak. I'm getting a second point of view. So if you're even doing mixed content creation and you want to have your main camera plus this, you can see the flexibility here. The audio you're hearing is the Saramonic microphone. I'm not doing any noise cancellation or post-production filtering. I just straight up plugged it in and hit record, and this is what the microphone sounds like. All right, now I'm talking to you on the Saramonic BlinkMe mic using a handheld microphone. I couldn't set up the Rode Wireless Go system on my phone the same way I did with the BlinkMe because I can't put the receiver and the mic on the same system without buying an adapter to put both units on the same camera mount. So I didn't have the same flexibility. I wanted to switch to this, but I do want to call out one thing. So I couldn't also connect it. I couldn't just leave this dangling just for the review because I don't have all the right adapters to make it work. My phone wasn't detecting it, so I'd have to buy a special cable. I know Rode sells different ones depending on if you're TRS or TRRS, meaning the audio cable has 3 bands instead of 2. That means it includes the microphone and the sound. The Saramonic system does have an auto detect. It'll actually switch between both modes depending on what you're connected to and what cable you're using. So it reduces some of that headache and necessity to buy other wires. Anyway, this is what the Saramonic mic sounds like on a handheld. Now I'm going to talk to you on the Rode so you can hear the difference. All right, now I'm talking to you on the Rode Wireless Go so you can hear the difference there. And I'm not trying to get into the whole which one sounds better or worse type thing. I think they're comparable, and I think you have a nice wide dynamic range to work with regardless, with an edge going to the Blink Me. Now you can do custom EQ in post-production to change your voice a little bit, but I just wanted to show you the difference without any editing out of the box. Now, in addition to showing you those microphone tests, I have some real world footage to show you. As I mentioned, I went to Axpona, so I'm going to show you a clip of me walking around because the Saramonic system actually has a noise reduction option that still can pick up some of the background noise, but it automatically keeps that at a lower volume so it's not making the track sound as busy. So you can still talk very clearly. The background still sounds very natural, but has a good separation of both. So with that being said, here's that clip. Astle and Kern, they make DAPs, or audio players basically. So if you want some good sound on the go and you don't want to use your phone, Astle and Kern's kind of a leader in that. So, and then one of the last but not least is Odyssey. I've covered Odyssey quite extensively on the channel, and there'll be more to come. The new MM100s were shown here for the first time, along with that NAM. Yeah, we know we like Odyssey. There's a lot of good stuff here. So even though it's a 2-channel show, the fact that you have this many headphone options to experience as well, it's basically all things audio. So as you can tell, that was pretty natural sounding, and I was just using the magnet system. I felt confident enough. These magnets are strong. I don't feel like it's ever going to fall off. You saw how snappy they were. That is a strong magnet. So with the weight of these being as light as they are, they actually weigh the same as a Wireless Go from Rode. There's not a lot of magnetic strength necessary to keep these in place. And I already mentioned how reliable this little windsock has been. So just in case you're concerned with dimensions, I just want to show you the width real quick. For the receiver itself, you're at right about 2 1/4 of an inch, let's say. Yeah, 2 1/4 of an inch. And on the centimeter side, you are about 55 centimeters, or 55 millimeters, sorry. And then on the receiver, you're at about 47 millimeters and about 1 3/4 width. That's eyeballing it. It might be just over 1 3/4, but it's close. So anyway, they're not too large. They're a little bit larger than the Wireless Go, but part of that is because of this whole mounting system. When they're connected, it can take up less space because of that. So there are a couple things I noticed. Now, one thing I just want to say is when you do connect this to charge, it puts the microphone to sleep. So you're not charging it at the same time you're using it. Thankfully, if you can see this pin system here, if I want to use this system and not charge it at the same time, you can still snap it in. You just snap it on the other direction. So just make sure that your microphone is coming out where you want it to be, obviously pointing towards you, and orientate this device so when it's mounted, it's not going to shut this off. It's kind of one of those things in between shoots. Just flip it and top it off, give it some juice, and then when you're ready to record, you can turn it back around. That was one little weird thing. Now, I do also want to say, I mentioned the whole noise reduction thing from the recording. I mentioned the 24-bit giving you a lot of overhead. You always want to use 24-bit over 16 whenever you can because that dynamic range, it just reduces the chance of having distortion. So as a content creation tip, always run 24-bit when you can. All right, I want to show you the on-screen display of both units real quick so you can see how it works. I have my logo on this one, and you can see the screen is actually a really nice resolution screen. So I'm going to swipe up. Onboard recording is where you set your bit depth, and I should be at 24, and I am. And then auto recording is as soon as the transmitter is turned on, you can have it set to automatically record whatever is going on. So if you want like really fast production, you can set that to be enabled by default. Noise reduction, I mentioned that earlier. You can also just press this button once to turn noise reduction on and off. And if you do that, you'll see a little NR show up at the bottom. Transmitter gain, if you're very soft-spoken, just tap this and boost the gain. If you are constantly distorting, maybe the gain is too high, so you can reduce it and give yourself a little bit more overhead. So let's go back. Brightness is self-explanatory, that's screen brightness. Display is an important one. This is where I have always on enabled because this is showing my Gadgetry Tech logo. I want this transmitter to always show that. It's helpful for interviews. And then the settings, this is where obviously language, pairing if it's not paired to the transmitter and receiver correctly, and then date and time is the other important one because you want the timestamps to match whatever your phone or camera is set to. It just makes file organization easier. So that is the transmitter. Now I want to show you the receiver. These touch features aren't as sensitive because I still have the plastic protective film on. But you can see right now it's showing only one transmitter is active because this is off, and it's going to record it both into the same audio output. So the file will have this on both left and right channels. If I turn on this transmitter, as soon as this powers on, you should see this light up. And look at that. Now I have both transmitters connected. It even shows my gain changes that I've made, so I can hit the minus button on the bottom here. So let's do that. Now I'm at 0 decibel gain from this to my recording device. Swipe up. I have recording settings here for the transmitter if I wanted to. If I swipe down, this is where I show stereo. I was talking about if I want to record these two separately. Swipe left to go to mono. So mono is where it combines both, or mono, and then stereo, and then safety channel right there. I should probably just peel this film off so it's easier to use. But you can tell that it's easy to configure. RX gain is how strong the gain is going to your camera or phone, if you need to set that. And then let's see, display, let's see, settings, let's tap that one. Pairing mode, brightness, reset version, that's your firmware. And then also all of this stuff that I'm showing you, you can make a lot of these changes on the mobile app. When you first press and hold this screen, it shows you a QR code. You can download the app. That's where you customize your wallpaper, and you can change the functions of all of these buttons to where you have a single press does something, a double press does something, and then press and hold for 1.5 seconds can do a third function. So you can customize these buttons as well to better suit your workflow to make the most out of your system. All right, so that about wraps up the Saramonic Blink Me system. I don't normally cover this stuff, so if the content flow seemed a little odd, I'm sorry. I'm as a content creator, what I learned is versatility and reliability is just as important as, in this case, pure sound quality. Having this kind of flexibility to work on a laptop, a phone, a camera, all in one system, giving you essentially everything you need in the box minus the smartphone cables, that's pretty awesome. So it can simplify your workflow. I think this is a game changer because of the flexibility you get with this unique system. The range is great. It's rated for 100 meters. And as you saw when I did that event coverage at Expona, I was in a busy place. There was a lot of electronics and devices there, a lot of people with phones, and the wireless connection was rock solid. Now the wireless Go 2 system is rated for 200 meters. The older Go is, I think, 60 to 80 meters. So this is right in the middle. But at $250, you're getting more for less compared to the Go 2 in most cases. It doesn't allow you to do an external lavalier mic, but that magnet system gives you the flexibility to where I don't mind that so much. It's kind of like just knowing what you're getting out of this cost. So I'm really excited to get this. I thought of so many ideas of where this can help me with content creation once I finally figured out everything it can do. So if you're a content creator, best of luck with your growth in producing some awesome stuff for YouTube and beyond. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd love to see you at the next video. Good luck out there. Bye.